because of the hostility.
Correct.
Yeah, crypto is moving out of the U.S. because of hostility toward crypto.
Correct. So what are you going to do to stop it?
Well, we'll stop it because I don't want that. I don't want that. I want that. If we're going to embrace it, we have to let them be here.
Yes, sir.
In a digital world, if you store your value in stable coins, what do you do if there's a run on the stable coin? And in the last 3 years, we've seen runs on stable coins. So what do you do? Well, if the only sovereign choices are a digital euro or a digital yuan, but not a digital dollar, you might choose the digital euro. And what does that mean? That means de-dollarization in a crisis.
I don't think the Fed's going to cut on Wednesday. Do you?
I do not, Sully. I don't see it.
Okay, when will they? This year? December?
Well, if you look at the CME FedWatch tool, it's coin toss going out to September, but I don't think they can do it in September. I think it becomes political. And I think Fed Chairman Powell, as badly as he wants to, he has actually done a synthetic rate cut. If you talked about last time when they stopped reduction of their balance sheet runoff, right? That was synthetically an interest rate cut. But I think it's December or even Q1 next year. I don't think it happens before the election, bud.
Yeah, I mean, and I know they're apolitical, and I'm doing the air quotes, Jeff, because they are human beings and they don't want to face this criticism. So you think, and I think BNP Paribas would agree with you, the first cut, if we get one, I still don't think we will, but if we do, it'll be December as kind of but will that, and let me ask you this, if we get the December cut, or January, who cares, right? Is that the sign of a broader rate cut move, or like a one-off, and let's see what happens?
No, it's a great question. I think 25 basis points means nothing from where we are right now at this elevated level. But I think if you look at the ECB, what they do today, they signaled hard. They telegraphed for the last couple of months that they were going to make a rate cut. All of a sudden, some of the inflationary data was a little bit higher than expected. It's at 2.6%. So they decided to move today. The Fed last month, core inflation is at 3.6%. So they're nowhere near their 2% target. So I think they need more data, Sully, a lot more data to even think about what they're going to do in December.
It almost felt like the ECB was like an apology rate cut. You know what I mean? Like,
it was like your favorite
Je
song,
désolé, which means I'm sorry in French.
It was like Bieber Sorry was playing in the background. She's like, I'm sorry, but we're cutting. And that's exactly what happened because I think they felt credibility. The Fed, I think they don't care about their credibility. They've been wrong notoriously and historically wrong for decades. So the Fed is probably going to be behind the eight ball like usual, but as badly as they want to cut, they can't. S&P 500 at new all-time highs. Janet Yellen even came out and said something. Maybe we need to look into some of the vulnerability in the AI stock. So that in itself seems like messaging coming out of the Fed.
Have to ask you about the rate cut outlook. We see those bond rate cut bets being pushed out all the way to December. Where do you fall?
So, by the way, the gyrations in the bond market over the last 2 weeks of the extremes are pretty incredible. So we're taken out. By the way, this morning, pre the number, we were pricing in almost exactly 2 rate cuts for the year. It didn't give you any room. So now you're repricing it to a level that I think is more realistic. Listen, I think the Fed would still like to get a cut or two done. I don't think this is going to put more of a focus on the inflation report, and including next week. But I still think they would like to get a cut done. I still think September you target as doing that. But listen, the economy is, if you take, you have a first derivative of growth, U.S. economy is slower. But you have to squint to see the slowdown. People have talked about, my God, this thing is falling off a cliff or stagflation. It's just not true. You've got a good economy that at the margin is moderating, and I think today's data is reflective thereof.
Welcome to the Crypto Teacher. And I come back with that video just to make you think.
Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel.
Make sure you join the Patrons. If you're not a part of the Patrons, make sure you're hitting the Cash App. And we have Trump, the crypto president. And remember, you're watching a movie. We have the Trump movie going on. Then we have Biden and his son movie going strong. And like I told you, going towards the end of this year and starting next year, guys, this movie is just going to start getting better and better. The sheep are about to wake up. And remember, the Crypto Teacher told you. And then we have Crypto Dad making a comment that made absolutely no sense. If there's a run on the dollar, because there's not a stable coin, and the euro and the yuan is the only sovereign currency, there's going to be a run on the U.S. dollar. Now, stable coins are pegged to the fiat. So it doesn't matter whether it's a stable coin or fiat, it's still the same exact thing. And all the runs we've seen when it comes to fiat was created by who? That's right, the central banks. There is no one else who has the power. And of course, they use the media. And remember, the crypto teacher told you. Now we have the Fed up next when it comes to the rate decision. And we know for a fact they can't move. But remember, this is all part of the plan, keeping rates higher for longer. We saw Jerome Powell manipulate yields just by his words, and we see Janet Yellen behind the scene pumping liquidity on in. And we know as long as the stock market is doing good, the sheep look at their 401k, they like it, and then of course they stay asleep. But once we get that new president and they have to make adjustments to this budget, the sheep are going to wake up. But we had Canada do a rate cut, we had the ECB do a rate cut, which it looked like both didn't actually want to do it. But that takes some ease off the economy. We know all this is ran by an algorithm. And the Fed has been wrong every time on purpose because they want this economy to crumble, so therefore they can have the rise of the machines. And we have Jim Cramer on the jobs market. And due to inflation, people are picking up 2 jobs. It's not the fact that they're getting good paying jobs. They have to work 2 jobs because we can clearly see layoffs are picking up, but the layoffs are the good jobs, these 6-figure jobs. We're seeing big tech layoff constantly, and that's due to the machine takeover. And remember, the crypto teacher told you, because he knows when it comes to the NWO, it's all planned out. You have a wonderful day.
Roaring job numbers. Not so roaring kitty. What can I say? This economy is creating jobs like there's no tomorrow. You'd think we've already had multiple rate cuts rather than none.
Going to a different economy, and we're going to be learning more about that as we go. But clearly, we're learning that things can be done from remote locations. We're learning that technology can replace people even more than we thought.
We're not going back to the same economy. We're recovering, but to a different economy, and it'll be one that is more leveraged to technology. And I worry that that is going to make it even more difficult than it was for many workers.
In Silicon Valley, and my friends who work in technology know that what we did to the manufacturing workers, we are now going to do to the retail workers, the call center workers, the fast food workers, the truck drivers, and then even bookkeepers, accountants, insurance agents, lawyers, and on through the economy. So what happened to the manufacturing workers is a very clear sign.
And so we'll import Chinese-based CBDC technology. So it's going to be CBDC in a box provided to you by the People's Bank of China.
But every stock, every bond, every currency, every commodity, every piece of art, every private business, every piece of real estate will eventually be a token on a blockchain, an entry on a ledger, permanent and immutable. We will have truth instead of trust, and we will save over $7 trillion a year. 6 to 8% of global GDP is wasted by the friction of the trust industry that's necessary when you have dual entry accounting. With triple entry accounting, which is what a blockchain is, we get rid of all of that friction. It's a beautiful future.
Like what you see in China and their social credit scoring systems, right? If we get identity wrong, it could be a tool to enslave humanity. And if we get it right, it could be a tool to liberate humanity. And as an American, I'm obviously rooting for the one that's on the side of freedom.
Bitcoin is an international asset. And also, I do believe the role of crypto is it's digitizing gold.
I actually believe this technology is going to be very important. Look at it. We have been part of a huge revolution in investing through ETFs. We believe that ETFs will be changing the whole way we invest. Many people still use it as a means, people are investing it for indexing. No, the majority of people who are putting money in in ETFs are active investors that are buying exposure. The entire bond market is being transformed as we talk right now. I believe the next generation for markets, the next generation for securities will be tokenization of securities. And if we could have that distributed ledger that we know every beneficial owner, every beneficial seller, we all have our code of who's buying, who's selling, instantaneous settlement. And think about it, it changes the whole ecosystem.
Chinese bank ICBC has been hit by a ransomware attack, and the U.S. Treasury market, as a result of that, has been disrupted. This, according to the Financial Times. We're getting it more right now with Bloomberg's Shonali Bassick. Shonali, what do we know?
Listen, we have the Financial Times now reporting that ICBC, one of China's largest banks here, was hit with a ransomware attack. And remember, they're a very significant intermediary in the Treasury market. The SIFMA has told its members that this has been part of the reason here that the system is kind of clogged up, if you will, during that auction that we saw a little bit before. The attack had prevented ICBC, according to the Financial Times, from settling Treasury trades on behalf of other market participants. A large executive at a major bank also telling the paper that such a large party on the fixed income clearing corp creates major concerns, potentially impacting the liquidity of Treasury markets.
Now, it was not just a poor auction. It was absolutely lousy, and you know, when the dealers have to step in to save a Treasury auction, that's a rare occurrence. And
Cryptoteacher and the New World Order book, plus the 3 kids books. It's time to re-educate. Also, new to cryptos, Coinbase, Bitrue, Binance. Do not forget book links and crypto links are in the description. The stock channel, guys. Don't forget to go like, subscribe, spread everywhere. You have your Kobo, your chip stocks, your banking, your gaming. While everybody's sitting at home, get on stocks, the Seaver, the biotech stocks. And while everybody's at home wishing they were still getting that free money, what are they doing? Drinking and smoking weed. Don't forget about those stocks, and you have a wonderful day. The most powerful person in the world is the storyteller. The storyteller sets the vision, values, and agenda of an entire generation to come. Steve Jobs. And guys, you know I truly believe in this. When you look at the New World Order, they're the storytellers. And that's the reason why I wrote my New World Order book. But guys, now it's time to change the current generation. And I wrote 3 kids books. You know I love the Trinity because I understand the power that's in it. So I have 3 books. We have an opportunity to change the generation, to educate, not just me, but I want to show you that I take action on a daily basis. And I want you to take action on a daily basis. Whether it's your job, whether it's in your community, we have an opportunity right now to educate the masses. I posted this on my Twitter account. Please share, but this is a short clip of the 3 books. There's going to be a clothing line and action figures. Please get these books for your kids, nephews, cousins, friends, so therefore we can start the re-education now. Because as we see, the 4th Industrial Revolution foundation is definitely here. Robots, algorithms, drones, taking humanity out the picture. We have to re-educate. But let's get into the video.
Part 1. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save the village. Part 2. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save New York from COVID-33. Part 3. King Joshua and Grandma Tam goes to China.
It's mandatory to get part 1, part 2, and part 3 of this series. It's time to re-educate Generation Z.